Yes, hello, my students, primarily, specifically, Christian, Martin, and Natalie. Following up on those strange grammatical constructions with in if clauses, like if they were we, if he were I. Okay, what's going on there is a rule I've told you all, but it sounds technical, and you need to think about it. Listen to me now, believe me later. Think about it. But after the verb to be, in no matter what form, past tense, present, present continuous, future perfect, it doesn't matter. After the verb to be, in whichever form it is, you must come back with a subject pronoun, not an object pronoun. Remember, subject pronouns, if you have to study them, first person I, first person singular I, second person singular you, third person singular he, she, it. First person plural, we. Second person plural, you. Third person plural, they. Again, after the verb to be in whichever form it's in, whichever tense it's in, you must, to achieve standard English, especially TOP English, you must follow the verb to be with a subject pronoun. Now, object pronouns. First person singular, me. Second person singular, you. Third person singular, him, her, it. First person plural, us. Second person plural, you. Third person plural, them. When do you use object pronouns? We've been over it, but this is more language reinforcement, more language review for your benefit. I think I got this. I should anyway. Anyway, when do you use object pronouns? You use an object pronoun after a preposition. Doesn't matter if they're words either in front of your preposition. Let's say or in front of your object pronoun. I'll do an example in a second. Doesn't matter if there's a list of 15 things and then you come to the object pronoun referring to you. If that pronoun is an object of a preposition or a verb, it must be me, for example, or us, or him, or whatever. The manager gave the report to Eileen, Fred, Michael, Natalie, Martin, Christian, and me, not I. Don't say the manager gave the report to Natalie and I. Sounds good, sounds educated, sounds Shakespearean, sounds like formal standard English. It's not. You're violating grammatical rules. The manager gave the report to preposition Natalie and me. Natalie and me. Because if you delete Natalie and, delete it, you would not say the manager gave the report to I, would you? You'd say the manager gave the report to me. Me, no matter what words are in front of it, a list of 15 people or things, it doesn't matter. Me is the object of the preposition to. The manager gave the report to me. Object pronoun, object of the preposition to. Not to I, not to Natalie and I, to Natalie and me, to me. Finished. Also, object pronouns can be objects of verbs. I did this one with a student. I was very surprised at his response. I said, which is correct? She kissed me or she kissed I? And I tried to trick him with a little bit of extra emphasis just to fool him, but don't be fooled. You either know the rules, the grammatical rules, or you don't. Or you're confused by them. Sometimes you can use them correctly, sometimes you can apply those rules incorrectly. So I said, she kissed me or she kissed I? And my student said, well, you're always talking about standard English and formal English and university snobbish English. It must be she kissed I. And I said, no way. You trust your language instincts, and you would not say that. You wouldn't hear that in any language capacity whatsoever, in any language context or situation whatsoever. She kissed me. Me, object of the verb kissed. Okay? Again, object pronouns, I've already listed them. They are objects of the preposition that comes before them or the verb that comes before them. Or the prepositions, or no, usually it's singular. Those object pronouns are objects of a preposition that comes before them or objects of verbs that come before them. My ex-girlfriend punched me, or my ex-girlfriend punched I? I hope you can answer that correctly. You should have said my ex-girlfriend punched me. Me is the object of the verb punched. Review. Again, object pronoun. Object pronouns are objects of prepositions, objects of verbs. So when you're writing, it's very easy to be very careful. Oh, this object of this verb here. But when you're speaking, it's a lot more quick. And it's quicker. And you don't have time to analyze as much unless you have done some really good, you've received some really good teaching, and you've really done some good language learning and a lot of self-study and analysis, everything with it. You'll increase your odds of using these constructions more accurately. Once again, let's go back to, I'll give you a quick quiz. You have to be truthful and tell me later how you did. It was me who stole the money. Or, it was I who stole the money. Okay? Which is correct? And if you can start explaining to me why, then you're really mastering these complicated grammatical structures. You should have said, third person conditional, you should have said, it was I who stole the money. What's the grammatical reason? Because the verb was is the verb to be, and after the verb to be in any tense, in whichever form it is, you must have a subject pronoun. Finished. You listen to that, rewind this, and get it in your minds, and it will become clearer. Let's try another one. My manager fired Martin and I, or the manager fired Martin and me. Which one's correct? And if you can explain why, then you're really mastering these challenging grammatical concepts. You should have said, third person conditional, you should have said, the manager fired Martin and me. Explanation, you need, fired is your verb, you're going to need an object pronoun to come after that verb. Get rid of Martin and get rid of the word and. The manager fired me. You would never say the manager fired I. No, you just know the difference. No one would say that. That's like hyper-correcting to achieve, educated standard English. But some people correct, a hyper-correct. Like my ex-mother-in-law who used to say, let's keep it between you and I, Michael. And I'd always say, Janet, I know you're a very educated woman, incredible career as a nurse and member of the Liberal Party. That's really interesting, but hate to say it as a humble English language teacher, that's grammatically incorrect. And I try to explain it to her, and she'd always forget because language fossilization. She had fossilized this in her mind and used it incorrectly for so many years, it's almost impossible to break. Almost. She could if she wanted to, but she's kind of intellectually stubborn. Anyway, different conversation. Let's keep this between you and me, because between is a preposition. You can't follow it with a subject pronoun. You must follow it with an object pronoun. One more. It was her who asked me, or it was she who asked me? Which one's correct? You should have said it was she who asked me, because the verb to be in its past tense form, was, must be followed by a subject pronoun. I don't need to say anything further, not farther, further about this. And listen to this video very carefully, incorporate it with your self-study, our teaching, the learning you do during the teaching, apply it in your writing if you're doing some, and really try to analyze it and process it in your mind so that it naturally flows into your speech. It will. With hard work, with analysis, with study, with practice, it will. I wonder if you guys were even aware of these challenging grammatical concepts a year or two ago. I wonder. You should have been taught these things by your teachers, but that's a different conversation and an unnecessary conversation. Now you have a teacher who is going to be stressing every single way that I can make you, not force you, but teach you to achieve the highest degree of grammatical accuracy in speaking English. And believe me, I can do it. I've been doing this for 20 years, 10 years Middle East, GCC, 10 years Canada, all levels, all forms of teaching. And, you know, I've been doing this for a very long time. People from all across the globe of all ages. And I should know what I'm talking about, especially when we're doing speaking. Okay, those Government of Canada websites, sometimes I get some wrong. I still have issues with the criteria they apply to achieve the correct answer. And also notice this in some of those explanations. Well, you know, sometimes we'll be doing it, Natalie and I, or Martin and I, or Christian and I. And, you know, it'll say incorrect. And let's say we chose B, and they'll say B is also incorrect. But then in the explanation, you'll read carefully, and sometimes they'll say B is correct, but C is preferable. I've read it because I don't like losing and I don't like being made a fool of by this Government of Canada website. I want perfect every time I do it. I'm the teacher. I'm old school. I want perfect. One wrong I can deal with, not 3 or 4 or 5. I hope it wasn't any more than that. But no, the Government of Canada website is incredible for really pushing you and me, me, object of pushing. It's very good for pushing our grammatical knowledge and thinking about grammatical concepts in ways we never really previously thought about. And I learn a lot. I love the website. It's just I don't always agree with some of the answers and the criteria with which they apply in order to achieve the correct answer. It's like, well, you know, what is it, A, B, and C? Or, you know, how sometimes A, B, and C, well, C could be both A and B. So it doesn't really necessarily mean we're incorrect if we chose A. We're 50% correct, we're 50% incorrect. And then when you get into explanations for correct answers or incorrect answers, and they say that your answer was incorrect, but in the explanation they will say, it is acceptable, however, it is preferable to say C for X, Y, and Z reasons. That is getting so lost in meticulous minutia, like crazy detail. How about gender inclusiveness that needs to be considered, especially for peaceable pronouns, the one that I got my ass kicked with when I was doing it with Christian. The incredible amount of criteria that you need to meet and understand in order to select the absolute final correct answer. I've said enough. I still love the website. It's very useful, and you learn a lot doing it, even if you get a few wrong. All right, I've taken up enough of your time. Remember, she kissed me or she kissed I? She kissed me. This guy. Me, object, pronoun, object of the preposition, or excuse me, object of the verb kissed. Come with Natalie and me or come with Natalie and I? Come with Natalie and me. Me is the object pronoun, object of the preposition with. All right. Get your head around those things. We'll see you soon.